Hello, and welcome to Ellie's first reflective blog. In her thesis, Streets Apart, Dr. Louise Grayson identified that when you undergo reflective practice, you can do it in 3 stages: in the pre-production phase, the production phase, and the post-production phase. So, over the course of our multimedia project for Vietnam and Cambodia, I'm going to be doing 4 reflective blogs. One now before we leave, which is pre-production, 2 in country, obviously during production, and 1 when we get home, post-production. There were basically 3 reasons why I really wanted to go on this trip. Firstly, I just got home from 7 months overseas in Europe, and even though it's cliche, I've well and truly been bitten by the travel bug. Vietnam and Cambodia have been on the top of my bucket list for travelling since I was about 14, so the opportunity to go on this trip was really exciting for me. Secondly, I've made up my mind that I definitely want to work in a journalistic field after I finish uni, and obviously it's very, very competitive to get jobs. Everybody's busy trying to find work experience and internships and trying to build their resume, but I thought that I needed something to sort of stand out from the crowd, something different on my resume, and I'm really hoping that everything that we're going to be doing over in Vietnam and Cambodia and composing our own multimedia package of whatever story we choose to report on will really help me stand out from the crowd when I go for a job interview. And last but not least, I've decided that I really would like to get into documentary making once I finish uni. I haven't been behind a camera and in charge of editing since about 2010, so this trip will really help me, hone in my skills, learn new things, and also brush up on the things that I used to know but probably have forgotten by now. I definitely think that there's some sort of internal battle going on inside me about, what I want to achieve out of this trip and out of this project for me, and then sort of the academic bureaucratic side of things. At this point in time, I'm not too fussed about what sort of mark I'll end up at the end of this for my uni subject for the credit that I'm getting. For me, mainly it's going to be about, taking on a challenge. I'm going to be choosing my own story, reporting on it, making a multimedia package about it, using photos, videos, audio pieces. I'm doing lots of things that I've never done before, so I'm just excited to get out at the end of it with a full package of something that I can say I've worked on myself. It's 100% my own work, and hopefully, I can use this to show off some of the skills that I've learnt. So at this stage, I'm not too concerned, I would use that word, about what mark I'm going to get, but I guess we'll see if that changes while we're over there or once we get back. While we're in country, I'm planning on doing what I always do when I travel, and is write in this, my travel journal. Now, David Bood, in his article Using Journal Writing to Enhance Reflective Practice, suggests that journal writing can go beyond being a form of self-expression, a record of events, or a form of therapy, but rather it can move on to being a form of reflective practice, that is, a device for working with events and experiences in order to extract meaning from them. One thing I really want to try to do while we're over in Vietnam and Cambodia is to keep my travel journal current. I say this every time before I go on a trip, that I'm going to keep it up to date, writing it every day, but obviously you're out having fun, you're sightseeing, you're tired at the end of the day, and so, I always come back and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to give myself half an hour to write, and it never really happens. And I sort of have this theory that if you're in a place for however long, you'll always remember the memories. They'll be really fresh in your mind, but as soon as you leave that place, they'll start to fade. So I'm going to challenge myself to actually this time get everything down while I'm still in that one place, just so I can really do it justice and tell the story correctly of everything that I've seen and heard in that city. Usually when I'm travelling, I wait until the end of the day to write in my travel journal, but one thing I'm going to do differently on this trip is whenever a thought comes to my mind, I'm just going to do it there and then, wherever I am, put pen to paper, so that I can give a really accurate description of whatever just happened. Now, Donald Shon calls this reflection in action, where you reflect on what you're doing as you go about it, rather than a considered reflection that takes place away from the press of immediate action. When we pause, we reflect, and we sort of use the benefit of hindsight to describe what's happened. So if I have time, I'd like to try and engage in both forms of reflective practice, and maybe see if the stories that I tell or the things that I think are important to remember and put down in my travel diary are the same or different.